YouTube, what's going on? It's Jamar here, Vegas Sense. In this video, what I'm going to be doing here is I have two fragrances, one Ouddiction by Alexandria Fragrances, and then Oud for Greatness by Initio Parfums. So the point of this video is to just pretty much see how each one of these smell next to each other and see if the Initio smells, 100 times better than the Alexandria, or if the Alexandria holds its own and is pretty much a one-to-one clone of the Oud for Greatness. All right. So if anyone doesn't know anything about this fragrance, this is a very popular Oud fragrance. If you ask a lot of people in the fragrance community, a lot of them will say that this is a really mass appealing wearable type of oud. And I would definitely agree with that. I would say that, if you're someone that is not really, if you've never really smelled oud before or oud fragrance, or, maybe you have and you haven't liked some other oud fragrances that you've smelled, I would definitely say give this one a try. This one definitely has like some mass appealing qualities to it. It does have a note of saffron in it, which, saffron, I would say in most of the fragrances that I've smelled here recently that have that in them, it does sort of give off like that Baccarat Rouge 540 type of vibe to it. So if that's a fragrance that you smell and you like, then I would say that you definitely might like this particular fragrance. Not saying that it smells exactly like Baccarat Rouge 540. It just has that one particular note in it that sort of gives it that same type of vibe. But this is a completely different fragrance altogether. All right, so just to go over the notes, the top notes are lavender, saffron, and nutmeg in the top. In the mid, you have oud, and then in the base, you have patchouli and musk. So it's a fairly simple fragrance in terms of notes, but it smells very complex, I would say. Now, I do have here on these two strips, the Oud for Greatness and Ouddiction, and just smelling the Oud for Greatness first. Okay, and then now the Ouddiction, and yeah, I mean they smell the same. I also have them on these two as well, and they've just been sprayed at different points. So I would say that between these two fragrances, they smell pretty much identical. I mean, you really have to really pay attention and really dig deep to really be able to, I guess, tell any sort of difference. But honestly, I would say these are definitely within 99% of each other. Definitely, if you smell these two in the air on someone, it would be indistinguishable. And I mean, honestly, just smelling these two off of these two strips, they smell exactly the same. They really do, which is really amazing because the Oud for Greatness by Initio, as well as all of Initio's other fragrances, one of the things that they pride themselves on is, a lot of their ingredients, or I think all of them, are natural, 100% natural ingredients. Obviously, with Alexandria Fragrances, because it is an inspiration house and they're putting out fragrances that are at the price point of between $40 and $60, they're not going to be able to use the same materials that Initio uses for their fragrances, which Oud for Greatness is over $300 for a 90 ml bottle. So obviously the quality of materials is not going to be the same between these two, but definitely the smell between these two, from what I can tell, there's no difference, like, at all. I mean, I would say maybe this Alexandria version is coming off to be just a bit more sharper than the Oud for Greatness is. Like, I would say maybe the Oud for Greatness is a little bit more smoother. Yeah, I mean, I would say the Oud for Greatness is just slightly a bit more smoother. It's got like a really, really good patchouli note in it. But I mean, this is something that I'm having to like really dig super hard to find. This is not something that if you smelled it in the air on somebody that you would be able to tell the difference. And I mean, really, I don't even think the wearer would really be able to tell the difference between these two. So I would say, because Oud for Greatness is one of the more expensive Initio fragrances that you can buy within their collection, you know, that's definitely something to consider, especially when you can get a 60, or not a 60, I think they're down to like 55 ml bottles now with Alexandria. With Alexandria Fragrances, you can get a 55 milliliter bottle for what, $62.99, I believe, of the Ouddiction. You know, that's definitely a much better price than the well over $300 that you would pay for the Oud for Greatness by Initio. Now you can definitely still find Oud for Greatness in like the Frag Addicts Facebook group. You know, there's definitely sellers in there that I think that might sell the Oud for Greatness for like a little bit over $200. So that's a lot better than what you would pay for at retail. But the Ouddiction is still, to me, the much better value. And honestly, like I said, I'm not really picking up on much of any difference whatsoever with these two fragrances. So, you know, some Alexandria fragrances, you know, they come close to the original, but, you know, there's still like noticeable differences that you can smell. Or sometimes the performance isn't as good, where like the Alexandria version might not project as much, or, you know, maybe the longevity isn't as great. That's definitely not the case with this one. I have worn the Ouddiction, I want to say at least 2 times now, and it was definitely a beast mode performer like the entire time that I wore it. And I mean, it's a fragrance that if you overspray it, it can definitely become headache inducing. So I would say this is not really a fragrance that you would want to wear to work. Honestly, I would say the versatility on this fragrance is sort of low, even though, again, it is definitely a more likable oud, but I would say that it's still a oud that you would still have to be careful with wearing, I would say. Because of the strength of it, some people might be offended by this particular scent. All right. So definitely, I would say if you're on a tight budget and you like the scent profile of this scent, but you don't want to save up or spend, you know, over $300 or even $200 on the Oud for Greatness, the Ouddiction is hands down your best bet. And you won't be missing out on any sort of part of the experience that you get with the Oud for Greatness by Initio. All right. So again, definitely go ahead and pick up the Ouddiction by Alexandria Fragrances. You can check that out on alexandriafragrances.com. All right. So that's Jamar here. Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.